Here we go.
As it is officially Oscar season, one of my favorite times of the year, it's time to talk about my picks and predictions. Be sure to join me down below in the comments. What are your picks and predictions? What movies do you want to win the award? What movies do you want to win Best Picture, for example, Best Actor, Best Actress, etc.? From what I can remember, it seems like this is one of the more predictable years of the Oscars. For a majority of the categories, I think most of us know who's going to win. But if you enjoy the rest of this video, click that like and subscribe button for me. It would help out a lot. And just a quick disclaimer, I simply did not get enough time to getting around to the shorts categories, so I won't be discussing those. But let's start off with Best International Film. I've seen 3 of the 5 nominees here. I didn't see The Teacher's Lounge and Io Capitano. The one that I enjoyed the most out of these was Society of the Snow. That is going to be my pick. It's a really grueling experience. Similar to another one of the movies in this category, The Zone of Interest, which I think is going to win. It is, of course, a Best Picture nominated film. The thing about The Zone of Interest for me was that it was way too slow for my liking. I never got into it. Probably would have worked more as a short film for me. Then you get into Best Animated Feature Film, which, again, seen 3 of the 5 nominated here. Haven't gotten around to Robot Dreams and The Boy and the Heron. Just wasn't able to watch those. For a lot of people, this seems like one of the big races of the year because it seems pretty neck and neck between The Boy and the Heron and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. In the end, I think Across the Spider-Verse is going to pull through. That is both my pick and prediction. It's a great film. Probably better than its predecessor, although that's a real conversation for another day. In terms of animation, it's incredibly deserving. The style and visual flair of the movie is outstanding. I think Nimona and Elemental are like solid, fine films at best. With The Boy and the Heron, you kind of have that story behind it being this might be Hayao Miyazaki's last film. Go out with a bang, give him the award. That's the possibility there. I think a lot of people are going with that. I still think it's going to be Across the Spider-Verse. For Best Documentary Feature, I have only seen 20 Days of Mariupol, which, spoiler alert, I think is going to be the winner. It's a grueling experience, to say the least. Probably one of the most difficult experiences I've ever had watching a movie because of how intense, and it never shies away from showing the horrors of what so many people are living through in Ukraine. It's a horror film in and of itself, incredibly deserving of the award. I think it has a clear shot at winning. I don't see any of the other movies kind of sneaking in and taking the win. For Best Achievement in Visual Effects, this might be the category that I'm most interested in seeing who's going to win. That might be pretty shocking to you because, like I said, for most of the other categories, it seems like we know who's going to win. But for visual effects, I think it really comes down to Godzilla Minus One and The Creator. At the end of the day, I feel like The Creator is going to pull through. You have the narrative behind Godzilla Minus One being, oh, it's an underdog story. It was made for supposedly under $15 million, and for the budget that it had, it looks amazing. Part of me feels like Academy voters might have said, oh, a nomination was good, and then we can give it to The Creator to actually win it. I don't know if it's going to win. I still feel like The Creator is going to win, and it's very well deserving of it. It's a visually stunning film. Maybe not the best sci-fi movie that I've seen, but The Creator is going to be my pick and prediction. However, I'm not going to be disappointed if either one wins. For Best Original Song, it's really down to the 2 Barbies. More so, it's going to be What Was I Made For? That's my prediction. My pick is going to be I'm Just Ken. It's the song that I've been singing in the back of my head for basically since I saw the movie. So catchy, so memorable. What Was I Made For? It really carries a powerful message, though. And that's what I think will push it through. It, of course, has won a lot of the previous award ceremonies. Billie Eilish and Phineas O'Connell, the brother-sister duo, they've won an Oscar before. So it's possible that I'm Just Ken could win. I don't think so, though. It's going to perform at the Oscars, though, so I'm at least super hyped for that. For Best Original Score, it's Oppenheimer. There's no world where I see any of these other movies winning. The Oppenheimer score is a character in and of itself. Rewatching the movie, I noticed it so much more on a second viewing. It is impeccably crafted. Maybe one of the best scores I've ever heard. And it's so prevalent throughout the movie that you're consistently hearing the beautiful score composed by Ludwig Göransson. When you get to Best Achievement in Makeup and Hairstyling, I think Society of the Snow might be my pick. It's between that and Poor Things. Poor Things wasn't a movie that I overly loved like so many did. I think it's a good movie. But for Society of the Snow, really what makes the makeup and hairstyling so special is that when you have these characters who are trapped in the middle of such a cold environment. Throughout the movie, as these characters are, of course, getting colder and colder, you can see their hair freezing, their eyelashes getting icicles almost. It really is impressive. I think that Maestro is going to be the winner in the end. Probably Maestro's only win of the night. Maestro, I think, is a great movie, but the makeup and hairstyling, seeing these characters grow throughout the course of 50 or so years. Bradley Cooper's transformation, Carey Mulligan's, not just as actors, but in terms of a makeup perspective, it's impressive. For best sound, I think that Oppenheimer is going to win. There is a chance that The Zone of Interest pulls through. I think this is one of the more neck and neck races of the night. Oppenheimer, I see just sweeping most of the technical categories. I think the thing with The Zone of Interest is that the sound is probably the best part about that movie, because similar to what I said earlier with the score in Oppenheimer, it's kind of a character in and of itself with The Zone of Interest. You're just hearing the horror going on behind the scenes of these characters, kind of just ignoring what is going on right next door. But especially just hearing the sound design in IMAX when I saw Oppenheimer, it's incredibly put together. I think it's going to win, but don't count out The Zone of Interest. Best achievement in costume design, I think it really comes down to Poor Things and Barbie. I feel like Barbie is going to take the cake in the end. It's a movie with such bright colors, and when you get to production design, which we'll get into in a second, the costumes in the Barbie movie are great. They look like Barbies. That's one of the smaller parts about what makes that movie special, but it stands out in the end. And then when you get to the production design, I also think it's going to win. The thing with the production design there is that, of course, most of the movie is in Barbie land. However, some of the movie does take place in the real world, so that might be going against it. Whereas something like Poor Things, which, again, that's where it's going between these two. Poor Things, the sets in the movie are insane, so don't count it out. You know what? I'm going to do a last minute change. My prediction is going to still be Barbie, but my pick is going to be Poor Things. It's one of my favorite aspects of the movie. You could say we're doing it live. For film editing, in my opinion, it has to go to Oppenheimer, a movie that is 3 hours in length, sometimes feels like it's 2 hours long, and that's really just due to the editing, how it is all cut together, making it feel much shorter than it really is. Also, the best editing and best picture kind of go hand in hand. Usually when you see who's going to win best editing, you know who's going to win best picture. Typically, that's not always true. Cinematography, another technical category that I think Oppenheimer is going to win for. Surprised to see no Zone of Interest here, because I thought the Zone of Interest was really just beautifully shot. But Hoyt van Hoytema, who is one of the best cinematographers working today, he did a wonderful job on Oppenheimer, a movie that looks just stunning. But getting into one of the bigger categories, you have Best Adaptive Screenplay. It's interesting because I could see a world where 4 of the 5 of these could win. I don't think Poor Things has a shot of winning. I could see a world where The Zone of Interest wins. I could see a world where Oppenheimer wins. I could especially see a world where Barbie wins. At the end of the day, I think it is going to go to American Fiction. My pick would be Oppenheimer, simply because it's one of my favorite movies of 2023. The thing with Barbie is that it has Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach, who they haven't won an Oscar before. That is, of course, one of the more acclaimed partnerships in Hollywood, with Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach, the couple. American Fiction was a movie that I found to just simply be not even that great of a movie. Tonally, it's a mess, and I don't think it blends storylines together all that well. It's a pretty messy movie, too. I don't think it deserves the award, but I think it's just going to win. For a lot of people, it worked, and that's why I think it's going to take the cake. When you get to Best Original Screenplay, I think it does just come down to Anatomy of a Fall. That is going to be my prediction. The screenplay in the movie, it's great. It's very well deserving. I would love to see a movie like May December win. I think my pick would be Past Lives, because the screenplay in that movie, it's been one of the ones that has stuck with me the longest. Celine's song, her writing is so powerful, and it really just lingers. It sticks with you long after the credits roll of the movie. But especially because Anatomy of a Fall has had such a presence in the awards season this year, I think that's what's going to win. For Best Achievement in Directing, it's going to go to Christopher Nolan. He's made the movie that's going to win Best Picture. Spoiler alert, he is so well deserving of it. He's made some of the greatest movies, I'd go as far as to say, of all time. He quite possibly might be my favorite director in that big conversation. His ability to capture Oppenheimer and make it one of the biggest movies of 2023, it's nothing short of extraordinary. I love the guy. I can't wait to see what he continues to do in Hollywood. He deserves it. For Best Supporting Actress, This one's kind of hard. It's probably the category that I maybe dislike the most. Like, there's not one person in here where I go, yeah, they really, like, in my opinion, deserve it. I think Divine Joy Randolph, she's the closest to it. She gives a superb performance. I don't know if it's really Oscar worthy per se. It's of course just my opinion. I know so many people love her performance, but at the end of the day, I think she would be both my pick and prediction. She's been sweeping this award season. You can almost just write it off now. She's going to win. Best Supporting Actor is another category where I'm not in love with what we have to work with here. I think Robert Downey Jr., who is going to win, he's my prediction. I'm not in love with his performance. The more I've thought about it, the more I think I'm kind of lukewarm on it. I think it's really good, but just maybe not Academy Award worthy, but for his career alone, that's what I think the narrative is pulling for here. My pick would be Ryan Gosling. I think that he gives such a terrific comedic performance, really adds a lot of levity to that movie. Not like Barbie is necessarily a dark movie, but I think that he's probably the funniest part about it. For Mark Ruffalo, though, I would love to see him win, even though there's no world where he does win because of just the fact that Robert Downey Jr. has just won so many precursors up to this point. But I hope to see a day where Mark Ruffalo finally gets an award because he's such a phenomenal actor, consistently putting in wonderful performances. For Best Actress, a lot of people think it's going to be coming down to Emma Stone and Lily Gladstone. I agree. I think at the end of the day, Lily Gladstone is going to win, especially because Emma Stone, of course, has won an Oscar before. She probably will win another one day. And that day could very well possibly be this year, but I think that just Lily Gladstone has a lot of momentum going for her. I would argue this is category fraud. She definitely should be in supporting, but I'm not the biggest fan of Killers. I wasn't even crazy about her performance, but I think that just there's a lot going for her this year. My pick would be Carey Mulligan, who honestly, in most of the movies that she's in, she's giving Oscar-worthy performances. In Maestro, she's between her and Bradley Cooper, my favorite part about it. She carries so much weight in that performance, and it's just not going to be her year, though. But one day, Best Actor, Cillian Murphy is going to win. He's very deserving of it. His performance in Oppenheimer is spectacular. I think what's so great about Cillian Murphy is what he can demonstrate in just his eyes. His eyes are one of his most defining features, to say the least, but just as an actor, what he can convey through it is nothing short of powerful. That's my pick and prediction. I would love to see Paul Giamatti win because I think that he's just a guy that's been consistently working so hard to get to a point like this in his career, and I think maybe at a point in time he was kind of the predicted winner, not so much anymore. Same goes for Bradley Cooper, though. Bradley Cooper has been trying so hard, and it's honestly one of the bigger conversations today. Just a lot of people give him a lot of slack because he is trying so hard to win an Oscar. You can just tell with the movie itself. I mean, it's an Oscar baity movie that is Maestro. He really wants it. I think he's going to get it one day, but that day is not this year. Cillian Murphy, my pick and prediction. Finally, for Best Picture. Going down the line here, I mentioned that I'm not a fan of American Fiction. Anatomy of a Fall, I would have really liked to have rewatched before I do this video, and I possibly could have changed in terms of my picks for some of the categories. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I definitely wanted to give it another viewing, just didn't get around to it. Barbie is another movie I enjoyed, but I don't feel an eager, real need to go revisit it anytime soon. That's what kind of holds it back a little bit. Coast of the Flower Moon, I thought, was one of the most overlong movies that I've seen in a while. Did not need to be 3.5 hours. I was pretty bored. Maestro, I think, is great. I don't know if I'll necessarily rewatch it anytime soon. Oppenheimer, of course, I think is phenomenal. Same goes for Past Lives. Poor Things, The Holdovers, as of right now, is my favorite movie of 2023. And if it really had to be between that and Oppenheimer for my pick, Zone of Interest wasn't for me. At the end of the day, Oppenheimer is going to win the award. It's going to win Best Picture. Very well deserving of it. One of the biggest movies of 2023. One of the movies that so many people went out to go see. It made nearly $1 billion. The story behind it all, just how the movie went on to succeed, a 3-hour-long talking biopic. With The Holdovers, you have a movie that makes you feel so warm and is so inviting. A movie that is really sad, but also pretty funny. It blends the genres so well. It reminds you to just go tell your loved ones that you love them. I think that's really special about The Holdovers. But at the end of the day, my pick and prediction is going to be Oppenheimer. I might like The Holdovers a little bit more than Oppenheimer, funnily enough, but I think just for the fact alone, how much of a success Oppenheimer was, how much I do enjoy it, that's why it's my pick. But that does it for my picks and predictions for the 2024 Academy Awards. Once again, be sure to let me know down below in the comments, who do you think is going to win? Who do you want to win? All that and more down below. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. And again, if you did enjoy it, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as well as that notification bell so you don't miss any further videos. And as always, look forward to more videos and reviews coming soon. My name is Ben. People call me Meter, and I'll see you guys in the next one.